Now we're going to do linear simultaneous equations. So simultaneous equations is essentially the points where two lines cross, essentially meet each other. And when we want to solve a simultaneous equation, we are essentially solving the point of where those two lines cross, the x and y coordinates, essentially. So let's look at this one. So we have to solve the simultaneous equation for 2x is equal to 6 minus 4y and minus 3 minus 3y is equal to 4x. So in order to do this, let's write it up here first. So our first one is 2x is equal to 6 minus 4y, and our next one is minus 3 minus 3y is equal to 4x. So there are technically two ways you can work out a linear simultaneous equation. One way is through substitution and the other way is through subtracting or adding. So I'm going to go through the one where you add or subtract. First thing we need to do is let's actually label this one equation 1 and equation 2. We need to put the equation in the format of ax plus by is equal to c, where a, b, and c are numbers. So if we look at the first one here, we have 2x is equal to 6 minus 4y. We need to keep the x's and the y's to the same side. So what we can do is we can move the negative 4y to the left hand side. And in order to do that, we need to add 4y on both sides. Because what we are doing here, by adding 4y on both sides, we are eliminating the negative 4y on the right hand side. And whatever you do to the right, you do to the left. So we're going to add 4y on both sides. So for the first equation, we get 2x plus 4y is equal to 6. What we've got minus 3 minus 3y is equal to 4x. So what we can do here is we can move the negative 3y over to the right hand side so that we can get all the y's and x's together. In order to do that, we have to add 3y on both sides to eliminate that negative 3y. So we get 4x plus 3y is equal to negative 3. So that's our second equation. So the next thing we need to do here is we need to try and match either the x's or the y's together. So for instance here, we need to make the numbers next to the x's to be the same. So the top one we've got 2x, but the bottom one we've got 4x. What we can do here is if we multiply the first equation by 2, we would get, well, we'll multiply the 2x by 2, the 4y by 2, and the 6 by 2. So we would get 4x plus 8y is equal to 12. And then the bottom one will stay the same. Lovely. So now that we've got the x's to be the same, what we are going to do is we're going to eliminate the x's. So in order to eliminate the x's, we first look at whether they have the same sign. So 4x is positive on the top one and 4x is positive on the second one. So we subtract. Same signs subtract, take away, opposite signs add. Another way you can see it as stop. Another abbreviation you can see as stop. So S, same signs, take away, T for take away, opposite signs O, plus. Lovely. So if we subtract both the equations away from each other, 4x minus 4x is 0x, so we can just not write anything for that one. 8y subtract 3y is 5y. And this one here, so we've got 12 subtract negative 3. Two negatives make a positive, so it's actually going to be 12 add 3, which is 15. So if 5y is equal to 15, to get what that y is, we need to eliminate that 5 next to the y. What we do here to eliminate that 5 is we're going to divide both sides by 5. Because when we want to eliminate something, we do the opposite. Because here we're doing 5 times y is equal to 15. To get rid of that 5, we have to divide by 5 on both sides. So we get y is equal to 3. So now that we've worked out what y is, we need to work out what x is. And in order to work out what x is we can substitute this y is equal to 3 back into one of the equations here. So if we substitute the y is equal to 3 to the top one, we get 2x is equal to 6 minus 4 times by that 3. So negative 4 times by 3 is negative 12. So 6 subtract negative 12 is negative 6. If 2x is equal to negative 6, that means x has to equal to negative 3. So our x is going to be negative 3 and our y is going to be 3. Lovely. So let me write that down. Y is equal to 3. So solve the simultaneous equation. So we've got 3x minus 5y is equal to 11. We've got 4x plus 2y is equal to 18. So luckily here, all the x's and the y's are on the same side, so we don't need to rearrange the equation to start off with. But we need to next make sure that either the x's or the y's are the same. So in order to do that, we need to think of what's the lowest common multiple of either the numbers to the x or numbers to the y. So because last time we made the x's match, let's make the y's match. So what is the lowest common multiple of 5 and 2? Ooh, 10. So in order to get both the y's to be 10, for the first equation here, we have to times the top by 2, and then we have to times the bottom by 5. So essentially what we get, the top one, if we times everything in the top by 2, we get 6x minus 10y is equal to 22. And then the bottom one, 4 times by 5 is 20x. Add 10y is equal to 18 times by 5, which is 90, yes. Lovely. So now that we've got the numbers next to the y the same, we need to decide whether we add or subtract. So using that hour stop, same sides take away, opposite signs plus. Okay. Because we can see that they are opposite signs, that means we have to add. Okay. So 6x adds 20x is 26x. 22 adds 90 is 112. Okay, so now what we need to do is we've got 26x is equal to 112. So in order to get what x is, we have to do 112 divided by 26. Now to work out what our y is, essentially we just substitute it back into the first or second equation. So 3x is 56 over 13 minus 5y is equal to 11. 3 times by 56 over 13, 168 over 13 minus 5y is equal to 11. Okay, to eliminate that 168 over 13, we have to subtract on both sides. So you do 11 subtract that, which we get as, so minus 5 is equal to minus 25 over 13. And then to eliminate that negative 5, we have to divide both sides by negative 5. So we get y is equal to 5 over 13. So we've got this wordy question here. So Amy buys 3 notebooks and 5 pens for £11.50. Ben buys 4 notebooks and 2 pens for £12.20. How much does 1 notebook and 1 pen cost? So we're going to say let notebooks be N, pens is going to be P. So 3N plus 5P is equal to £11.50. Good. And 4 notebooks and 2 pens is £12.20. So 4N plus 2P is £12.20. So now we need to work out how much 1 book and 1 pen costs. So here we're going to use simultaneous equations to work this one out. So first of all, our P's and our N's are on the same side, so we don't need to rearrange. However, we need to make one of either the numbers next to the N's or the numbers next to the P's match. Doesn't really matter which one, so let's do the N. So we need to work out, find the lowest common multiple of 3 and 4, which is 12. So 3 times by 4 for the top one makes 12, and for the bottom one times by 3 makes 12. So if we times everything on the top by 4, we get 12n plus 20p, and then £11.50 times by 4 is 46. And if we times the bottom one by 3, so 12n plus 6, or 6p is equal to, so £12.20 times by 3, which is 36.6. Match the numbers next to the end the same. We have to eliminate it now. Same signs take away, opposite signs plus. So this time we're going to subtract because they are the same signs. They're both positive numbers. So we're going to do 20 subtract 6p, 20p subtract 6p, which is 14p. And then 46 subtract 36.6, which is 9.4. If 14p is equivalent to 9.4, to work out what that p is, we essentially need to divide both the sides by 14. Just going to write it in fractions, which is roughly £0.67, so 0.67 pounds. And then to work out what n is, what we're going to do is we're going to substitute our value for p into one of these equations here. So, let's do the top one, 3n plus 5. I'm going to keep it in fraction format, so 47 over 70 is equal to 1150. 5 times by 47 over 70 is, so 3n plus 47 over 14 is equal to 1150. To eliminate that 47 over 14, we have to subtract on both sides. So 11.5 subtract 47 over 14, which we get as 3n is equal to 57 over 7. And then to eliminate that 3, we divide both sides by 3. N is equal to 19 over 7, which is roughly £2.71.